So you're getting ready for your IGCSE International Mathematics exam. You've probably got some questions buzzing around your head, right? Core or extended? When can I use my calculator? It can seem like a lot to figure out. Well, don't worry, because that's exactly what we're going to clear up today. By the time we're done, you'll have a super clear roadmap of how the whole assessment works. Let's dive.
Yep, these are the big ones. These are the first couple of things every student needs to get straight. Which level is right for you, and when you can use that trusty calculator. We're going to tackle that first big decision right now, core versus extended.
Okay, so the very first choice you'll make is picking your tier. Cambridge International gives you two main paths to go down, core and extended. You can think of it like choosing a hiking trail. The path you pick determines the peaks you can reach, and in this case, those peaks are your final grades. And here is the difference. Plain and simple. The core tier is perfect for students who are targeting grades from a C all the way down to a G. It's all about building a really solid foundation. But if you've got your sights set on those top grades, like an A star or an A, or if you're thinking about studying maths later on, then the extended tier is definitely for you. It lets you shoot for any grade from A star down to E. So knowing your own goal is the absolute key to choosing the right path. Now, here's something that's the same for everyone. It doesn't matter if you pick core or extended, your final grade is based on 3 separate exam papers. The setup is the same for both, but believe me, the content and the difficulty of those papers are very different. Let's start by looking at what the core assessment involves. All right, the core assessment. As the name suggests, this is all about making sure you have a rock-solid foundation in all the essential math skills. Okay, so if you're a core student, you've got these 3 papers. Now, pay really close attention to the calculator rules. This is super important. Paper 1 is a non-calculator paper. It's designed to test what you can do with just your brain and a pen. But for paper 3 and the investigation paper, which is paper 5, you will absolutely need your graphic display calculator. And look at the weighting. Papers 1 and 3 make up a huge 80% of your total grade, with that final investigation paper covering the last 20%. Now, for all of you who are looking for that deeper challenge, let's check out the extended assessment. This is the path for anyone aiming for those top marks. You'll see it looks kind of similar, but everything is turned up a notch. For the extended tier, you'll be sitting papers 2, 4, and 6. Just like with core, there's a non-calculator paper, that's paper 2, your big theory paper, paper 4, and the combined investigation and modeling paper, which is paper 6, both require a graphic display calculator. The weighting is exactly the same as core. Those first 2 papers make up 80% of your grade, and that last one is worth the final 20%. So we know the structure of the exams now, but what is Cambridge actually looking for? What skills do you really need to show them to get a great grade? You know, it's not just about getting the right answer, it's about how you get to that answer. Cambridge has a name for these skills. They call them assessment objectives, or AOs for short. Just think of them as the 2 main types of math skills you're being graded on. There are only 2 of them, and really getting the difference between them is a game changer. First up, we've got AO1. I like to call this one knowing your math tools. This is all about your fundamental skills. Can you remember a formula off the top of your head? Can you solve an equation without making a mistake? Can you use all the right symbols and language? It's basically about having all the right tools in your mathematical toolbox and knowing exactly how to use each one. And then there's AO2, which is all about using your math skills. This is where you get to be a bit of a math detective. It's when you look at a big, tricky, multi-step problem, maybe one you've never seen before, and you have to figure out which tools from your toolbox you need to use to solve it. It's about spotting connections, coming up with a smart plan, and showing your thinking clearly. This is where you prove you can really think like a mathematician. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. The balance between AO1 and AO2 isn't the same for core and extended. The focus actually shifts depending on which path you're on. So for the core qualification, you can see the scales are tipped pretty heavily towards AO1. About 60% of your entire grade comes from just knowing your math tools. And that makes total sense, right? The main goal of the core course is to make sure you have a really strong grasp of all the fundamental techniques. But check this out. For the extended qualification, the whole thing flips. Now the majority of your marks, we're talking up to 60%, come from AO2, using your math skills. The extended course is designed to push you, to make you apply what you know to solve much more complex and unfamiliar problems. This is exactly the kind of thinking you'll need for A-levels and beyond. Okay,
Wow, that was a lot of information, I know. We've gone through the different paths, the papers, and the skills they're testing. So let's just boil it all down into the key things you need to remember to build your own path to success.
So, what are the big takeaways? First, make sure you choose the tier that actually matches the grades you're aiming for. Second, know your papers like the back of your hand, especially which ones are calculator and which are non-calculator. And finally, really understand the skills you're being asked to show off, whether that's mastering your tools for AO1 or being a creative problem solver for AO2.
And that's it. You now have a clear blueprint of the IGCSE International Mathematics Assessment. The structure isn't a mystery anymore. So the final question really is for you. Now that you know all this, how are you going to focus your preparation to really showcase your skills?
Fundoo Tutor is a personalized learning platform that helps students succeed in Cambridge, IB, and other international curriculums with expert mentorship, structured learning support, and engaging resources.